Rankings Week 16. These fantasy football rankings are based on the point per reception, PPR, scoring used in most seasonal and daily fantasy football formats. 1 point is awarded for every 10 rushing and receiving yards and 1 point for every 20 passing yards. 6 points are awarded for touchdowns scored, 4 points for passing TDs and 1 point for receptions. Rankings are compiled by FantasySharks.com. Quarterbacks 1 Ben Roethlisberger Pit. At Who? 2 Russell Wilson C. At Dow. 3 Alex Smith K.C. vs. Mia. 4 Drew Brees N.O. vs. Saddle. 5 Philip Rivers L.A.C. at N.Y.J. 6 Matthew Stafford at Sin. 7 Aaron Rodgers GB vs. Minutes. 8 Case Keenum Minutes. At GB 9 Cam Newton Carr vs. TB 10 Tom Brady NE vs. Buff. 11 Nick Foles Phi vs. Oak. 12 Kirk Cousins Was vs. Den. 13 Matt Ryan Apple at NO. 14 Jameis Winston TB at Carr. 15 Blake Bortles Jack at SF. 16 Dak Prescott Dow vs. C. 17 Andy Dalton Sin vs. Dent. 18 Blaine Gabbert Ari vs. N.Y.G. 19 TJ Yates Who vs. Pitt. 20 Tyrod Taylor Buff at NE. 21 Jared Goff L.A.R. at 10. 22 Eli Manning N.Y.G. at Ari. 23 Marcus Mariota 10 vs. L.A.R. 24 Jay Cutler Mia at KC. 25 Jimmy Garoppolo SF vs. Jack. 26 Derek Carr Oak at Phi. 27 Deshaun Kaiser Cole at Chi. 28 Jacoby Brissett Indiana at Ball. 29 Paxton Lynch Den at Was. 30 Mitchell Trubisky Chi vs. Skl. Running backs 1 Le'Veon Bell Pitt at Who? 2 Ezekiel Elliott Dow vs. C. 3 Todd Gurley L.A.R. at 10. 4 LaShawn McCoy Buff at NE. 5 Alvin Kamara N.O. vs. Saddle. 6 Jerick McKinnon Minutes. At GB. 7 Christian McCaffrey Carr vs. DB. 8 Mark Ingram N.O. vs. Saddle. 9 DeMarco Murray 10 vs. L.A.R. 10 Lamar Miller Who vs. Pitt. 11 Devonta Freeman at NO. 12 Kenyon Drake Mia at KC. 13 Kareem Hunt KC vs. Mia. 14 Melvin Gordon L.A.C. at N.Y.J. 15 Latavius Murray Minutes. GB. 16 Jordan Howard Kai vs. Skl. 17 Leonard Fournette Jack at SF. 18 Samaj Perini Was vs. Den. 19 Tevin Coleman at NO. 20 Theo Riddick at Sin. 21 Dion Lewis NE vs. Buff. 22 James White NE vs. Buff. 23 Alex Collins Ball vs. Indiana. 24 Jamel Williams GB vs. Minutes. 25 Carlos Hyde SF vs. Jack. 26 CJ Anderson Den at Was. 27 Joe Mixon Sin vs. Dent. 28 Peyton Barber TB at Carr. 29 Frank Gore Indiana at Ball. 30 Isaiah Crow at Chi. 31 Kerwin Williams Ari vs. N.Y.G. 32 Marshawn Lynch Oak at Phi. 33 Duke Johnson at Chi. 34 Orleans Darkwa N.Y.G. at Ari. 35 J.J. Phi vs. Oak. 36 Jonathan Stewart Carr vs. TB. 37 Giovanni Bernard Sin vs. Dent. 38 Mike Davis C. at Dow. 39 Amir Abdul at Sin. 40 Javarius Allen Ball vs. Indiana. 41 Derrick Henry 10 vs. L.A.R. 42 Corey Clement Phi vs. Oak. 43 Matt Forte N.Y.J. vs. L.A.C. 44 LeGarrette Blunt Phi vs. Oak. 45 Danny Woodhead Ball vs. Indiana. 46 Doug Martin TB at Carr. 47 Tarek Cohen Kai vs. Skl. 48 Marlon Mack Indiana at Ball. 49 TJ Yeldon Jack at SF. 50 DeAndre Washington Oak at Phi. 51 Bila Powell N.Y.J vs L.A.C 52 Aaron Jones GB vs Minutes 53 Alfred Morris Dal vs C 54 Wayne Gallman N.Y.G at Ari 55 Charkandre Quest KC vs Mia Wide receivers 1 DeAndre Hopkins Who vs Pitt 2 Keenan Allen L.A.C at N.Y.J 3 Larry Fitzgerald Ari vs N.Y.G 4 Mike Evans TB at Carr 5 Adam Thielen Minutes. At GB 6 Julio Jones at 10:07 Devin Funchess Carr vs DB 8 Doug Baldwin C at Dow 9 Michael Thomas NO vs at 10 Jarvis Landry Mia at KC 11 Golden Tate at Sin 12 Robert Woods L.A.R at 10 13 Stephon Diggs Minutes. At GB 14 AJ Green Sin vs DIT 15 Juju Smith-Schuster Pitt at Who 16 Tyreek Hill KC vs Mia 17 Alshon Jeffrey Phi vs Oak 18 Dez Bryant Dow vs C 19 Michael Crabtree Oak at Phi 20 Kenny Stills Mia at KC 21 Demarius Thomas N at Was 22 T.Y. Hilton Indiana at Ball 23 Marvin Jones at Sin 24 Will Fuller Who vs Pitt 25 Deshaun Jackson TB at Carr 26 Martavis Bryant Pitt at Who 27 Josh Gordon Cole at Kai 28 Sterling Shepard N.Y.G at Ari 29 Rishard Matthews 10 vs L.A.R 30 Robbie Anderson N.Y.J vs L.A.C 31 Brandon Cooks NE vs Buff 32 Sammy Watkins L.A.R at 10 33 Jamison Crowder Was vs Den 34 Amari Cooper Oak at Phi 35 Tyrell Williams L.A.C at N.Y.J 36 Jordy Nelson GB vs Minutes 37 Cooper Kupp L.A.R at 10 38 Deed Westbrook Jack at SF 39 Mohamed Samuel at NO 40 Emmanuel Sanders Den at Was 41 Devant Parker Mia at KC 42 Josh Doctson Was Den 43 Paul Richardson C at Dow 44 Mike Wallace Ball vs Indiana 45 Marquise Goodwin SF vs Jack 46 Kelvin Benjamin Buff at NE 47 Jermaine Kearse N.Y.J vs L.A.C 48 Tyler Lockett C at Dow 49 Chris Hogan NE vs Buff 50 Cole Beasley Dow vs C 51 Ted Ginn Jr. NO vs Saddle 52 Brandon Lane Felsen vs DIT 53 Nelson Aguilar Phi vs Oak 54 Randall Cobb GB vs Minutes 55 Adam Humphries TB at Carr Tight ends 1 Zach Ertz Phi vs Oak 2 Travis Kelce KC vs Mia 3 Delaney Walker 10 vs L.A.R 4 Kyle Rudolph Minutes. At GB 5 Rob Gronkowski NE vs Buff 6 Greg Olsen Carr vs TB 7 Evan Engram N.Y.G at Ari 8 Jack Doyle Indiana at Ball 9 Jimmy Graham C at Dow 10 Hunter Henry L.A.C at N.Y.J 11 Vernon Davis Was vs Den 12 Cameron Braid TB at Carr 13 Jason Witten Dow vs C 14 Ricky Seals Jones Ari vs N.Y.G 15 Eric Ebrindit at Sin 16 Tyler Croft Sin vs DIT 17 Ben Watson Ball vs Indiana 18 Jared Cook Oak at Phi 19 Julius Thomas Mia at KC 20 Austin Seferian Jenkins N.Y.J vs L.A.C 21 Josh Hill North.O vs Saddle 22 Jesse James Pitt at Who 23 O.J. Howard TB at Carr 24 Austin Hooper at NO 25 Charles Clay Buff at NE 26 David Njoku at Kai 27 George Kittle SF vs Jack. 28 Steven Anderson Who vs Pitt. 29 Mercedes Lewis Jack. At SF Kickers 1 Greg Zuerla and L.A.R at 10. 2 Stephen Gostkowski NE vs Buff. 3 Chris Boswell Pitt. At Who. 4 Matt Bryan Tattle. At N05 Kai 4 Bath Minutes. At GB6 Matt Brachardit. At Sin. 7 Harrison Butker K.C. vs Mia. 8 Graham Gano Carr vs T-Benign Travis Coons L.A.C. at N.Y.J 10 Justin Tucker Ball vs Indiana 11 Robbie Gould SF vs Jack. 12 Jake Elliott Phi vs Oak. 13 Will Lutzano vs Saddle. 14 Josh Lambo Jack. At SF 15 Ryan Sop 10 vs L.A.R 16 Dustin Hopkins was vs Den. 17 Patrick Murray TB at Carr. 18 Stephen Hoskbuff. At NE 19 Brandon McManus Den. At Was. 20 Adam Vinatieri Indiana at Ball. 21 Phil Dawson Ari vs N.Y.G 22 Mike Nugent Kai vs Skl. 23 Chandler Catanzaro N.Y.J vs L.A.C 24 Mason Crosby GB vs Minutes. 25 Dan Bailey Dow vs C. 26 Randy Bullock Sin vs Dint. 27 Cody Parkey Mia. At KC 28 Zane Gonzalez Kl. At Kai. 29 Kaimi Fairbairn Who vs Pitt. 30 Aldrich Roses N.Y.G at Ari. 31 Giorgio Tavchio Oak. At Phi. 32 Blair Walsh C. At Dow. Defenses 1 Baltimore Ravens vs Indiana 2 Los Angeles Rams at 10. 3 Chicago Bears vs Skl. 4 Los Angeles Chargers at N.Y.J 5 Philadelphia Eagles vs Oak. 6 New England Patriots vs Buff. 7 Arizona Cardinals vs N.Y.G 8 Carolina Panthers vs T-Benign Minnesota Vikings at GB 10 Seattle Seahawks at Dow. 11 Denver Broncos at Was. 12 Jacksonville Jaguars at SF 13 Pittsburgh Steelers at Who. 14 Washington Redskins vs Den. 15 Dallas Cowboys vs C. 16 Green Bay Packers vs Minutes. 17 New Orleans Saints vs Saddle. 18 Detroit Lions at Sin. 19 Tennessee Titans vs L.A.R 20 New York Giants at Ari. 21 Atlanta Falcons at NO 22 Buffalo Bills at NE 23 Cleveland Browns at Kai. 24 Indianapolis Colts at Ball. 25 Kansas City Chiefs vs Mia. 26 Miami Dolphins at KC 27 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Carr. 28 Houston Texans vs Pitt. 29 Cincinnati Bengals vs Dint. 30 San Francisco 49ers vs Jack. 31 Oakland Raiders at Phi. 32 New York Jets vs L.A.C.